Now that we're on the subject of reed valves, let's discuss the difference between a single and a dual stage reed. And I'm not an expert on the subject, but I will share what I've learned. Now, when reed valves first started, they were basically a very thin piece of polished metal, like this metal, and you can see how thick it is. And it was just a flap that was used on a very small intake, reed intake. What happened with that is, as I discussed before with metal fatigue, as the reed flapped out and out and out and out, it would gain a weak spot right along here, and what would happen is the reed would crack and then break off and then get sucked into your intake, and that nice little metal reed would cause all kinds of havoc with your engine. Next we have the I believe they're called a phenolic plastic reed, which was used, and of course in the future or now, the reed valve is very, very important on your engine. Also the reed cage. This is a reed cage right here, where it looks like a cage. The reeds are kept right here, and this is a different reed cage. Now Boyson makes some very high-tech reed cages and reeds. Now, like I said, I'm waiting for them to come in. I've never seen them, but this company specializes in that one area, and they've really excelled at it, from what I understand. Now, a single stage reed is a reed, say like we'll take this carbon fiber reed. Now we go over to the reed cage, and we have the reed right here. Now, as the engine needs gas, these are naturally closed and held against this plastic, but as the engine needs gas, the reeds open, allowing gas in. The crank turns and starts to compress. As it compresses, the pressure closes the reed valve, so it seals up and the engine becomes an air pump. Now on the next cycle, as the vacuum in the crankcase increases, the reed opens up again and allows more fuel in and then shuts. That is what a valve does. A valve opens and shuts. Okay, now what Boyson has done, and I don't know the history of reeds, but they've really worked on their material to where, as you can see, if this reed were to open and shut, open and shut, open and shut thousands of times or hundreds of times, that it could get weak, or it could lose a piece right here. Now, that little piece, you say, well, it's just a little piece. But see, that little piece leaves a hole right there. And that means that this reed valve is not all the way sealed up. Okay, the next stage in reed valve development that I have found is the dual stage reed. Now, dual stage basically means that the inner part of the reed, which is just like this, is a stiffer reed right here, and it is overlapped by a less stiff reed right here. And the theory is very, very sound in it. what it does, and this is what it looks like completed, but what we have here, if I can get these two to stick together along this reed cage, is where instead of all the reed opening at once, as you can see here, the one closest to the valve opening all at once, what it does is the pressure and the suction causes the upper top reed right here to open first, and it lets a smaller amount of fuel in. That gives you a better control at lower speed, or more crisper response. That's a theory, which makes sense. Now, when the pressure or vacuum increases inside the crankcase at high speed, then what happens is the reed, the stronger reed, it's hard for me to grab this, make a good presentation here, but the stronger reed, which is against the block, then what it does is it opens. That is a dual stage reed right there. Now they come in many different forms, but what Boyson has done is worked on the chemistry of the plastics or whatever they use to make the reeds stable at high speeds, which has always been a problem, which will give you more top end and more performance at top speed, which could mean winning or losing the race. Now, if you want to go to change your reeds, what you first have to do, it's very, very simple. They usually have either 2 screws or 3 backed up by a little steel plate, which is on the back right here. Now, this is your reed intake piece, and they come in many different forms. We pull the reed intake the reed cage out with the reeds on it, and they also have these reed stays on them. You take out the 3 little screws right here, 3 little screws on the other side. We take off the reed stay, whichever kind you have. This is one kind, this is another kind right here. And underneath that will be your reed of whatever came with your bike, either like a dual stage or the more common one stage, and they come in different sizes. And then what you want to do is take a look at your reed cage, and there's all kinds of little rough spots in here. Now the outside has got to be totally smooth, this outside where the reed seals, because it has to have a good sealing surface. But on the inside you can go in and you can find rough spots where you can take a little bit of sandpaper and sand them down. And that also includes a dual stage. If you look, we've got a rough spot here. You've got a spot right here on the inside. Remember, this has got to be totally smooth. But on the inside right here, this can be smoothed out, which will give you a better flow. So that's the difference between a single stage reed in the reed cage right here and a dual stage reed, which is the new way of doing it. And I hope that clears that up. Now I will be using my Boyson reeds when they come in, and I will be working on that experiment, and I will put it all on YouTube. So that's the difference between a single and a dual stage reed, and they're very easy to change, super simple. So if you have a problem with your bike, it's not working right, check your reeds, because they do wear out.